From the Journal Times from the year 1977. Don Johnson knows the pain of being called a has-been. A forgotten man, exiled to the dungeon that beguiles the theater stage of professional athletics. The has-been, remembered in trivia payoffs, egotistically boosted by an occasional present-day resurrection to remind worshippers there's still a touch of gold remaining in the mind and body. Don Johnson. At 36, constantly reminded about what once was, knowing quite well what might never be again. Destined for professional bowling's Hall of Fame. A champion who will quit before ragging a reputation to infinity. I've won at least one tournament each year for the last 12 years. Nobody else has done that, he said. I've been in the top 20 money winners 11 years in a row. Nobody else has done that. I was Bowler of the Year in 71 and 72 and consistently earning over $30,000 and $40,000. It annoys me when people say, "What happened to you?" when no one's ever been in the top 20 as consistently before. They don't understand you can't be number one every year. They say, "How come you're not bowling good anymore?" But they don't understand the competition is so much stronger. They wouldn't realize it unless they've been here as long as I have. I've seen a lot of great ones go home. Harry Smith, Tom Hennessy, Glenn Allison. Nobody can dominate the tour anymore, especially from the right side. We're all out here scrambling to make a living. Don Johnson always admitted he had to work harder than most Professional Bowlers Association members. His success dispelled that thought from the minds of millions who identify with a champion. He's won 26 PBA titles, second only to Earl Anthony. He's won $483,103, third only to Dick Weber and Earl Anthony. He was first team Bowling Magazine All-American from 1967 to 1972. He was first, second, first, and third during a 6-week period of 1971 when he won 6 titles and $81,000. Undoubtedly the best 6 weeks any professional ever bowled. Was isn't appropriate, despite the knowledge he's won just one title a year since 1974. But the names now are Anthony, Roth, Lobb, Holman, Schlegel, Ressler, Berardi. Occasionally Weber, Salvino, seldom Johnson or even Ridker or Burton for that matter. Unless you win on TV, it's difficult to keep a name, Johnson said. The way Earl has bowled the last 7 years, he's the best that's ever lived. Most people think it's unbelievable what he's done in 7 years, 27 titles and $490,000. I started winning in 64, and Weber, who has 26 titles and 59. He's, that is Anthony, won more since 1970. Everybody takes a back seat to him. What Earl's done is a phenomenal feat. Earl is definitely the Jack Nicklaus of bowling. What Earl's done is force-feed the public into forgetting a Don Johnson, even though he beat Anthony for the championship 2 weeks ago in New Orleans. Talk about Don Johnson may have ebbed, but thoughts about the popular hero called Coco, after hometown Kokomo, Indiana, never will cease. Coco is not the easiest person to get to know if you've never met him before, one person said at the Miller High Life Open, where Johnson failed to qualify for the 24-man match play. He's had some personal problems and may not open up to you, but he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Yet, Johnson has struggled to stay ahead of the game. He may not duplicate what he did 5 or 6 years ago. Too many things have changed, especially his life. When you're Bowler of the Year, you're supposed to be the best. I won that award 2 years, but I wasn't that good. I was lucky 2 years in a row, Johnson said. When you're Bowler of the Year, people think you should be Bowler of the Year every year. There's no way I can. I can face facts. I'm not that good. I see no way a right-hander can be Bowler of the Year back-to-back ever again. Look at this year. 7 weeks, 7 winners. That streak I had in 71, you just can't do that anymore. The competition is too strong now. The Junior League program has brought about better young bowlers who could give less about the name of Anthony Johnson Webber. Guys like Marshall Holman aren't scared of Anthony Webber or me. A cliche enters the mind, young lions. You have to throw harder now, Johnson said. Burton, Ritger, Don McCune, me, we all threw slow and had a lot of success. But the new look, Roth, Berardi, Schlegel, Holman, are all hard throwers. You need speed now. The lacquers on the lanes are harder and more fireproof. You can't blame the proprietors for using them to protect their investment. I can't complain because all the alleys aren't suited to my right-to-left ball. We're supposed to make adjustments. In my era, it was Zahn, Davis, Hardwick, and I heard he just quit. The new era is Roth, Ressler, Berardi, Holman. The new era finds a new Don Johnson. He'll privately talk about the divorce 8 months ago. He will not publicly degrade his former wife. And he's quite reserved about his self-hypnosis he hopes will help his concentration on the bowling alley. I was destroyed. It destroyed my bowling, he said of last June's divorce. After the divorce, I could give a crap less if I got a strike, a spare, or a 6-pin washout. I had the incentive on the tour to make it, to buy my wife and 3 kids things. All of a sudden, it was gone. I had to get away from things, so I went on the summer tour. 2 weeks later, I was back home in Las Vegas. Life goes on. My attitude is much better this winter, to say the least, than it was last winter. The emotions were evident 2 weeks ago when he won in New Orleans on his oldest son's birthday. The motivation was there. Yet, for the perfect picture of a family man, Johnson had to live with inner thoughts that he hadn't seen his children since November. That was the happiest thing in the world, he said of New Orleans, where he found the alleys perfectly suited for his bowling delivery. A lot of people were rooting for me. A lot of people realized what I've been through the last 8 months. What a great feeling. On the phone, my son said, "Thanks, Dad. That's the best present I could ever have." A serious tragedy of life. The self-hypnosis only helps his bowling concentration. He'll apply it only as long as he's near the top. Then it will be the host pro job at Charleston Heights Bowl in Las Vegas and the endorsements for the Columbia Bowling Company. New Orleans proved to me I'm not completely over the hill, Johnson said. If I go 2 years without a title or 2 years under $30,000, I'll hang it up. I don't want to be a has-been. A lot of people say it's better to be a has-been than a never-been, but I've never believed that. A champion all the way.